U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken delivering some tough public criticism of Israel as that country tries to eliminate Hamas from Gaza following its October 7th terror attack. Blinken appeared on NBC's Meet the Press.
Is it fair to say that President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu are not seeing eye to eye right now?
There are two things. One is that, as the president said, and as we said in many conversations over the last couple of months, there has to be a credible plan for the civilians.
Have you seen a credible plan?
Make sure. We have not. Second, there's something else that's important. We also haven't seen a plan for what happens the day after this war in Gaza ends. Because right now, the trajectory that Israel is on is, even if it goes in and takes heavy action in Rafah, there will still be thousands of armed Hamas left.
And join us now to talk about the Israel-Hamas war, also its implications for the U.S., Kori Schake, Director of Foreign and Defense Policy Studies at the American Enterprise Institute. It's good to see you. Kori, we talked about this last week, and we mentioned that in the near term, President Biden's decision on arms to Israel won't have an immediate effect, and it might never really have an effect. It may be part of a political calculus at this point. Or do you think it actually is going to sort of curtail Israel's ability to do what it needs to do?
No, I think you're right that it's performative. The restrictions aren't significant operationally, but they are sufficient to enrage or make Israelis feel betrayed, given the breadth of President Biden's prior statements about support to Israel at this time. I also think it's significant enough to make American allies and security partners really nervous that there is no commitment from the United States that once political pressure begins to mount, a president won't walk back from. We saw that with assistance to Saudi Arabia and the UAE in their war against the Houthi, which we are now reaping the difficulties of internationally. We saw it in Afghanistan, and now we're seeing it in Israel. And we also saw it in Ukraine with the restrictions on range usage of U.S. weapons. So I think it's not significant for Israel's campaign in Gaza, but it is significant both for the U.S. Israeli relationship and for concerns that American friends and allies are going to have about our staying power.
What is the difference? How do you parse what Israel is doing right now in Rafah? For example, the Journal says Israel pushes farther into Rafah, but this is not a full-fledged. Israel has still not done what the Biden administration warned it not to do. They're pushing into Rafah, but not to the extent that it's an all-out end of, trying to actually end Hamas completely. That hasn't happened yet.
Well, I think, what the Israelis are trying to do is extraordinarily difficult, and nobody's good at urban warfare. It seems to me possible they're trying to be responsive to Biden administration concerns, but it's also possible that they're trying to figure out a very difficult military equation, and we're not being particularly helpful. For example, Secretary Blinken's comments about Israel has no plan for the post-war period. We're also not providing that vision for them, and that's what friends do.
Is this going to, and I don't like to use the term whack-a-mole, I don't know what else to say, though. So they in northern Gaza, you're seeing militants coming back, reestablishing themselves. So what does did we really, is ISIS completely gone? Did we destroy ISIS completely? Can you destroy Hamas completely if it just reemerges, even if they go into Rafah full force?
I do think having set that as the objective of the operations is a very high standard, and you're right to question whether it's ever achievable. Israel's strategy has been described as mowing the grass, right? You see a problem, whack-a-mole is another way to say it, but it's very difficult unless you change the attitudes of the public that is providing support and protection, or even out of fear, are not assisting in identifying Hamas operatives and Hamas soldiers in their midst.
And that is the key question, because the PR war very early on started being, and then you have the college, the universities and everything else. So I don't know how it goes. I don't know how it's not going to turn to the point where Israel loses support at this point. You can sort of see the writing on the wall, can't you?
Well, yes, because the administration isn't making the affirmative case for how difficult what Israel is trying to do is, how difficult it would be for any military to do what Israel is trying to do. They're not providing the protection to Israel to buy them time and international support.
Right.
And they're caving to domestic concern in the United States.